All right. Very disappointing loss for Michigan. However, I'm going to give you the optimistic take on why I am still confident in Michigan, and hopefully this will give Michigan fans some positivity here. So first of all, Michigan beat Texas not for the game, but for the second half, 9-7. So take that for what it's worth. They didn't quote unquote give up. Forget about how Texas was playing. I'm sure they were playing more conservatively in the second half. But from the Michigan perspective, they need to think that way. They need to think, hey, we beat Texas in the second half, 9-7. Um, they can still make it to the college football playoffs. This is my second thing. They can still make it to the college football playoffs. Um, they need to go 3-1 in those first four games, which means they've lost that one. They need to beat USC. So I think hopefully the Michigan attitude really starting at halftime, because they weren't going to win that game even at halftime. I didn't see them coming back from that. They may not tell the players that, but the coaches hopefully are thinking that way, that it's all about getting reps and getting Michigan to get ready for USC. The third thing is Texas may actually be the best team in the country. They look like Michigan was last year. Um, uh, they were obviously prepared in a way that Michigan couldn't be. Despite all the efforts of the team, you have to get actual game reps in huge games. At least Michigan got that with Texas. Hopefully, that'll help them beat USC. That's the only focus right now: beat USC. Um, so I mentioned the fourth thing, the playoff format. It allows for an early loss. I think the way that I see this playing out is that you've got the first four games. They need to go 3-1. Then you've got two other huge games, and you've also got Washington. So you've got to basically beat Oregon. That's what it comes down to. At the beginning of the year, I really thought that Oregon was the most important game of the year. I still think the same thing. That's the pivot point on whether they make the playoffs or not. But you still have to take care of business against USC and also Washington. All right. The fifth thing is I'm just going to give you a stat that turnovers on average are worth between 4 and 5 points lost every time you give up a turnover. Michigan was -3 in that department. The Loveland fumble was unfortunate. They almost had a fourth fumble as well, or fourth turnover as well. One of the interceptions was a tipped pass. The timing, I would argue, was terrible as well, because it happened while the game was still in question. And it really does mess with the psyche of a team when they lose turnovers like that. Uh, if you assume 5 points, the game is obviously way, way closer, somewhere in the teens, which is, I think, what a lot of people were thinking this game could have been, in the teens or low 20s, and much, much closer. So, somewhere between 12 and 15 points. I would err on the side of 15 points, just because of the timing of the turnovers. So, sometimes turnovers are a bit of luck, but on the other hand, hard hits, that sort of thing. Obviously, Michigan's been on the plus side of things like that. So, can they limit turnovers against USC? That should be their attitude right now. Limit turnovers against USC. Texas is an excellent team. Um, Hopefully, USC is not as good as Texas, and Michigan improves that much in this next game. They learn from this experience, and they can beat USC. That should just be the singular focus right now. Don't think about any other game. Obviously, you've got to beat Arkansas State, but they should handle that. It's all about beating USC, which would put them in the position of beating Washington and uh, beating Oregon at home. If they do all of that, they win all their other games, they can save that second mulligan for Ohio State, and they actually don't even have to win that game to make it to the playoffs. So that's my take, my optimistic take. Um, they beat Texas 9-7. Um, Texas may be the best team in the country. The playoff format allows for an early loss, and turnovers really messed with the game in a way that it could have been a different game if there weren't a -3 in the turnover department. Let me know what you think, and I will continue with my takes as I look at the stats in more detail.